good morning students. Today we are going to study about the topic chemical effects of electric current. Okay, what is meant by chemical? There are many chemical effects. In our day-to-day life, we are using water and many other liquid items. While we are using liquid items, after using the liquid item, if you touch a electric appliance with a wet hand means what happened? The current passes. So it is very dangerous. So your mom not allow you to touch the electrical appliances while using water, etc. Right? Now we are going to study about what are the chemical effects of electric current in this chapter. Okay? Chapter 14, page number 172. Okay? The materials which allow electric current to pass through them are called what? Good conductors of electricity. The materials which allow electric current to pass through are called what? Good conductors. The materials which do not allow electric current to pass through are called bad conductors or poor conductors. Okay. So, we made a tester to test whether a particular material allow the electric current to pass through it or not. Using the tester, we test the material. It is electric current to pass through it or not. Using the tester, we test it. Okay. The metals such as copper, aluminium conduct electricity, whereas materials such as rubber, plastic and wood do not conduct what? Electricity. So, metal, copper and aluminium are what? Good conductors. And rubber, plastic and wood are called what? Poor conductors. We have used our tester to test materials which were in a solid state. The solid state we test with what? Tester. For liquid state, also there is same tester. In solid state, we are using the tester to test the material. Likewise, the liquid state also, we are using the same tester to test the material. Okay, then replace the cell by the battery. Before using the tester, we should check whether it is working or not. Okay, here activity 14.1, join the free ends of the tester together for a moment. This completes the circuit of a tester and the bulb should glow. If the bulb does not glow, it means what? The tester may be not working or the connections are loose or the bulb may be fused. Or then check the cell also. Afterwards only we want to replace the bulb to another bulb. Now test if the tester is working or not. While replacing the bulb and the cell, now we want to check whether the tester is working or not. Then only we get a result. Okay, then activity 14.2. Collect a few small plastic or rubber cap of discarded bottle and clean them. Pour 1 teaspoon of lemon juice or vinegar in one cap. Bring your tester over this gap and let the end of the tester dip into the lemon juice. Care that the ends are not more than 1 centimeter apart, but at the same time do not touch each other. Does the bulb glow? Does lemon juice or vinegar or good conductor or poor conductor? When the liquid between the two ends of the tester allow the electric current to pass. So the circuit of the tester become what? Complete. Okay, when the liquid between the two ends of the tester allow the electric current to pass. So the circuit is complete. The current is passing. So it is complete circuit. The current flows in the circuit and the bulb glows. Okay, see the picture, ma. Here there is a circuit. Here one beaker. In that beaker, we are pouring what? Lemon juice and there is battery and also bulb. A round shape is a bulb. Okay. When the liquid between the two ends of the tester allow the electric current to pass means the circuit is complete circuit. Then the current flows in the circuit and the bulb glows. When the liquid does not allow the electric current to pass means the circuit is a incomplete circuit. There the bulb does not glow. Okay. Then due to heating effect of current, the filament of the bulb gets heated to high temperature and it start what? Glowing. In this experiment, due to heating effect, what happened? The filament of the bulb gets heated of high temperature and the bulb glows. If the current through a circuit is too weak, the filament does not get heated and the bulb does not glow. Okay, ma? Then activity 4.4, 4.3. Here I have given one example video for you. Okay. Watch the video. Then the next topic is chemical effects of electric current. We have learned some effects of electric current in the previous classes, right? Here also one activity. Take out carbon rods carefully from two discarded cells. Clean their metal caps with sandpaper. See here, there are two carbon rods. We want to wrap the copper wire around the metal cap of the carbon rod and join them to a battery. We call these two rods as what? Electrodes. Okay, first two carbon rod, then metal cap, then water. Water is a liquid form. Then pour the cup full of water in glass. Pour the cup full of water in the glass. Then add a teaspoon of salt or a few drops of lemon juice to the water to make it more conducting. Then now impress the electrode in their solution. Make sure that the metal caps of the carbon rod are outside the water. See the picture, ma? The metal caps are outside the water. We want to impress the electrode inside the water, the salt water, right? We are dissolving salt. Then make sure that why we are dissolving salt? For good conducting, right? Then more conducting, we are using what? Salt or lemon juice. Then make sure that the metal caps of the carbon rods are outside the water. Wait for 3 to 4 minutes. Observe the electrodes carefully. Do you notice any glass bubbles near the electrodes? Yes, the passage of an electric current through a conducting solution causes what? Chemical reaction. Okay. The passage of electric current through a conducting solution causes what? Chemical reaction. As a result, bubbles of a gases may be formed on the electrodes. So, the metal deposits may be seen on the electrodes. Changes of color of solution may occur because of metal deposits. The reaction would depend on the solution and electrodes are used. These are some of the chemical effects of electric current. Okay. There are some bubbles, gas bubbles are formed on the electrodes and also metals are deposited in the bottom. Changes of color or occur because of the reaction would depend on the solution and also electrodes. These are some of the chemical effects in the electric current. Okay. Then the next topic is electroplating. A brand of new bicycle has shining handlebar and wheel rims. If there are accidentally scratched, the shining coating will comes off, revealing a not a so shining surface beneath. Right? If the coating is scratched means what happened? It is not smooth. Have also seen women using ornaments which appear to be made of gold. If we use more time, means what happened? The ornament's color will be changes to black or silver, right? So it is because of what? Electroplating. Here there is an activity. Activity 14.7. Okay. We will need copper sulfate, 2 copper plates of size around 10 centimeter into 4 centimeter. Okay, we need copper sulfate and 2 copper plates. See the picture, there are 2 copper plates and copper sulfate solution. Then take 250 ml of distilled water in a clean and dry beaker. See the beaker, we want to pour what? Clean distilled water in the beaker. Dissolve 2 teaspoons of copper sulfate in it. Then add a few drops of diluted sulfuric acid to copper sulfate solution. To make the liquid conducting, more conducting, we are using what? Dilute sulfuric acid in the copper sulfate solution. Clean copper plates with sandpaper. Now rinse them with water and dry them. Connect the copper plate to the terminal of the battery and impress them in copper sulfate solution. We want to connect the copper plates to the terminal of the battery. See the picture? The copper plates are connected with the battery. Then immerse in the copper sulfate solution like electrodes. We are dipping what? Electrodes in that experiment, right? Likewise, here we want to impress what? Copper plate. Then allow the current to pass for about 15 minutes. Now remove the electrodes from the solution and look at them carefully. Do you find any difference in any one of them? When electric current is passes through the copper sulfate solution, copper sulfate dissociates into copper and sulfate. Dissociates into copper and sulfate. The free copper gets drawn to the electrode connected to the negative terminal of the battery and get deposited on it. Okay, when the electric current is passed through the copper sulfate solution, the copper sulfate dissociates into copper and sulfate. Then the free copper gets drawn to the electrode connected to the negative terminal of the battery and gets deposited on it. From the other electrode, a copper plate and equal amount of copper get dissolved in solution. In the other plate, what happened? The equal amount of copper get dissolved in the solution. Thus, the loss of copper from the solution is restored and the process continues. This means the copper gets transferred from one electrode to other. So only it dissolves into solution. Then the process of depositing a layer of any desired metal on another material by means of electricity is called what? Electroplating. Because of current only they are depositing under the bottom, right? The metals are deposited under the bottom. So it is called what? Electroplating. Electroplating is a very useful process. It is widely used in industry for coating metals object with a thin layer of different metals. Okay. The layer of metal deposited have some desired property. The metals of the object lacks, for example, chromium plating is done on many objects such as car parts, bathtubs, then kitchen gas, burners, bicycle handlebars, wheel rims and many other objects. Okay. Then chromium has a shining appearance. So only we are using in the car and etc. Okay, handlebar and all, we need a shining appearance. So only we are using what? Chromium. Then tin cans. Then we are using for what? Cycle handlebar. Then car. then kitchen gas, then wheel rims, etc. For shining. We are using chromium for shining. Okay. Chromium is expensive and it is may not be economically to make the whole object out of chromium. So, the object is made from a cheaper metal and only a coating of chromium over it is deposited. The jewelry makers electroplate silver and gold on less expensive metal. The jewelry makers, what they are doing? They are electroplating what? Silver and gold on less expensive metal. Okay. These ornaments have the appearance of silver or gold but are much less expensive. Then tin cans used for storing food are made by electroplating tin onto iron. Tin is less reactive than iron. So, food does not come into contact with iron and it is protected from getting spoiled. So, we are storing the food in the tin cans. Okay, it is made of what? Iron. The tin is less reactive than iron. So, the food does not spoil. Then iron is used in bridges and automobiles to provide strength. So, iron tends to corrode and rust. A coating of zinc is deposited on iron to protect it from corrosion and formation of rust. It is protecting the iron. Okay, the coating of zinc is deposited on iron for protecting. Then, in the electroplating, the factories, the disposal of used conducting solution is for major concern. It is a polluting waste and there are specific disposal guidelines to protect the environment. Okay, we are using electroplating in factories to disposal of using what? Conducting solution into major concern. Okay, that's all about today's topic. Thank you.
Liquid conducts too. As we all know that electric current produces a magnetic effect, we can use this effect of an electric current to make another kind of tester to detect the conduction of liquids. When a compass needle is kept nearby a wire in which current is flowing, the deflection of the magnetic needle can be seen. Now let us prepare a tester by using a compass. Take the tray of a matchbox and place a small compass needle in it. Now wrap an electric wire 5 to 6 times around the tray and connect one free end of the wire to the terminal of a battery. Leave the other end free. Take another piece of wire and connect it to the other terminal of the battery. Now join the free ends of two wires. The compass needle shows the deflection. Now leave the two ends free and use this tester to test the liquids. Take a plastic or rubber cap of discarded bottle and clean it. Pour 1 teaspoon of salt water in the cap. Bring your tester over this cap and let the ends of the tester dip into the salt water, and we can observe that the bulb of the tester is glowing. So, from this activity we can say that salt water conducts electricity. The water that we get from such sources such as taps, hand pumps, wells and ponds contains several salts dissolved in it. This water is thus a good conductor of electricity. On the other hand, distilled water is free of salts and is a poor conductor.